Welcome to Conversation with Zaki Baruti, with your host Zaki Baruti. And like always, I want to give a shout out to my biological family. What's happening? To the Universal African Peoples Organization, what's going on? And to New Life Evangelistic Center family headed by Reverend Rice. Keep up the great work. And a shout out to our amazing cameraman Bob. On that note, we're going to have a great show because in studio with me is a young, beautiful, dynamic young lady who's involved with Delmar Main Street. Main Street, that is. And I'm speaking none other than Miss Felice McClendon. Welcome to Conversation with Zaki Baruti.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, then. Look here, before I begin all my programs, I'd like my audience to know a little bit about the person that I'm interviewing. So if you be so kind, just share some background information about yourself, wherever you want people to know of Felice.
Okay. Well,
and that's a beautiful name,
yes,
Felice.
like Feliz Navidad.
I
Yeah,
know,
it means,
right.
like the song Merry Christmas, Feliz means happy. In fact, full government is Gay Felice. My family's from down south, so down south you can get two names, May Lois, Sue Ann, whatever, Lily Mae. So the Gay Felice is happy. But boy, it was not a celebrated rainbow to be gay on the first day of school in my era. And so initially I just started saying, call me Felice. But
you say gay?
Gay Felice, as in
gay.
happy.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Gay Felice.
Yeah.
So yes, I live up to it. I am Gay Felice.
Okay.
Yes, but yeah, at this point, I was living in Nebraska at one point and was the only person that looked like me. So not only was
What part of Nebraska?
Omaha.
Nebraska.
I'm not from there, but you know, when you move with where your job moved you. My dad had a good job, God rest his soul. And yeah, that is embedded in the story, but I will say, having been in communities where the people look like me and then in communities where I was one of none, I came to quickly notice the disparities, right? So, you know, I left the school because they were calling me the N-word. They were calling me other things around the name. Are you gay? Yeah. I didn't even know what it meant, you know, life before cable. I didn't even know what they were talking about. I was like, Mama, what does this mean? But nonetheless, all the turmoil I was experiencing at school.
And this turmoil was in what school district?
This was
in Omaha?
In Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
And what was...
Now, wait a minute, let me stop you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now, you originally from the South, you say?
Originally, my people are from Houston.
Okay.
I went to, for St. Louis needs to know, I went to high school in Kansas City, but I've been here for 30 years, so very much love St. Louis, committed to St. Louis. And if someone asks me what high school I went to, I'm like, stop it. I probably know more about St. Louis than your average St. Louisan, because I have been here for a good part of my adult life. So came here, went to Mizzou for journalism school, so communicating and being with people, making sure, like yourself, I could capture the stories that aren't always shared. That is very near and dear to my heart. So it is an honor to be here. That is something that I do in the small business community, but just really in community, just try and give a voice and amplify a microphone to those who need it.
Now, going back to your early school life, so how long were you in Omaha school district?
I was in Nebraska from kindergarten to the 5th grade. Okay. And when I tell you the stuff that happened to me in where I was one of 4 people of color, not in the school, but in the entire school district.
Wow.
It was, you know, again, we're talking early 70s, and it was rough. The teachers would even tape my mouth to keep me from speaking. That's why you can't shut me up to this day. And I knew if I told my daddy, I said, he might go up there and choke somebody out, lose his job. I was like, I can't tell. So I just stopped talking. And my parents eventually were like, I know my daughter can speak. And they were like, well, she needs to be in special classes and blah, blah, blah. My mom was like, whoa, no, what, you know. And so at that point, they sent me to a school with kids that looked like me. And then I get there, those kids, no nicer than the other kids I left who were mean, and they didn't even call it bullying. It was just first grade,
Right.
But then I get to my melanin rich school, and they like, well, why you talk like a white girl? And I said, well, why don't your books have pages? I had just come from a school that had everything. I'm reading. I mean, it had everything.
So
and I was serious. Why don't your books have? Why don't your books have pages? This is subpar. We don't have to live like this. So I mean, I am in the second grade, acutely aware of the disparities in one community to another, and that forever has shaped how I move.
Now, I made mention early on in terms of Delmar Main Street.
Yeah.
What is Delmar Main Street?
Yeah, so glad you asked. Delmar Main Street is a part of a national model. So there is
a national model of what?
For revitalization of historic communities. So the Main Street of America, there are over 2,000 main streets across the country. And so a lot of people, because every main street is not specifically called a main street, say, for example, you've been to Washington, D.C.?
Yes, of course.
So fun fact, that White House is in a not so white neighborhood. It is in a very urban part of town. But how do you create a model and an environment in a community where the president, Olivia Pope, the cook in the kitchen, everybody can go to the same coffee house, get a cup of coffee, and nobody feels strange. Everybody feels welcome. Everybody can get on the same train, go in the same direction. We got to figure out how to share the space. So one of our transformation strategies, if you will, is to create places for people, and that's what I've been doing on Delmar Main Street. So my territory or district, if you will, is from the city limits, which is not just Skinker, but about 1,000 square feet into the loop, all the way to Taylor. And so
we're saying St. Louis City.
City.
Yeah, because Delmar runs east and west throughout both the city and into U City. Et cetera.
And that's why I call out that that's not U City. When you're, at that loop, once you get to Eastgate, that is the city as well. But it should be streamlined. As nice as it looks in the loop, it should look like that by the time you get to Union. It should look like that by the time you get to Kings Highway. It should look like that on Taylor, too.
Okay, on that note, we're going to take our first break.
I want to encourage you to continue to pray for the Zaki Baruti Show and the work of the New Life Evangelistic Center. You can help sponsor this show, the Zaki Baruti Show, by sharing your gift with the New Life Evangelistic Center at P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. I spent a lot of time this past week among the tornado victims, that EF3 tornado that struck the St. Louis area on May 16th, 2025. I mean, the needs just continue to grow. And I encounter a lot of people that are having joy in their heart, but also they're very worried about what the future is going to bring. There's other people that are experiencing despair. We're trying to help people, not only with physical needs, but also encouraging people to have hope. Yes, and that's why we're also distributing the New Life Zoe free paper. We'll make available to you, Planting Seeds of Hope. It's just filled with testimonials, stories of people who found hope in the midst of desperate situations. Many of them are homeless people, people that begin discovering a new life. As we share hope, we want to encourage you to join us in doing that. And if you'd like a bundle of papers, drop by 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. I want you to know that there is hope. You may have been one of the victims of the tornado. If you need shelter, call us here at New Life Evangelistic Center at 314-421-3002. You need household items. We invite you to come and visit us here at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri, and the free store that we have that you can select items out of, between like 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. But call first, 314-421-3020. You can join the teams that go out on the streets daily by just linking up with our volunteers. And again, the number is 314-421-3020. Many, many ways you can get involved to help people at this critical moment. I thank God for those of you that are sharing with New Life Evangelistic Center so we can help those in need. It's P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. Let's make a difference for good and go out and help so many right now. Let's let them know that there is hope Let's continue to share hope through direct help.
And now, I just wanted to share with you that when you partner with New Life Evangelistic Center, you are truly giving hope to people who are in desperate straits. For 52 years, New Life Evangelistic Center has been helping men and women and children who are experiencing homelessness. And they hold on to hope because of partners like you. So I want to invite you to get more involved, to learn more about how you can plug in your time, your talents, your treasures into the work here at New Life Evangelistic Center. Go to nlecstl.org to learn more, or call 314-421-3020 to learn about how you can help others hold on to hope in their desperate time of need.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In the studio with me is Felice McClendon, who's with Delmar Main Street. And we're looking at the concept of Delmar Main Street. Now, you were saying Delmar Main Street for your project starts at Eastgate, which many people associate with University City.
Right.
From there into Taylor. And what is your, and you're saying it's about revitalization. Now,
it's revitalization, so it's a 3.5 linear mile stretch surrounded by 8 neighborhoods and 250 businesses and about 959,000 people. So just shy of 37,000 people. That is more than 10% of St. Louis's population to date, you know.
So how long has Delmar Main Street been in existence, and who is it funded by?
Those are some big ones, right? Okay, so there are 3 main streets. The state, like I said, there's 2,000 main streets across the country. I mentioned D.C. because D.C. has, they've been doing the model for over 40 years and have about 28 main streets. So H Street, K Street, all those alphabet letter streets, all main streets. That's how it's historic preservation of communities, right? Locally, in our state, we have shy of 70 main streets that are managed through Missouri Main Street. So we have a state intermediary that we report data up to and also get technical assistance from the good folks in Branson that are a part of the state affiliation. You have to be designated to be a main street, so we are working our way towards being accredited, but there are, you know, evidence-based standards.
So who gives the accreditation?
The state as well as the national arm recognizes you, you know, as...
So for clarity's sake, so in terms of revitalizing those areas,
Yeah.
because 2 things. One is, how long it's been in existence, Delmar Main Street, and are there examples where you can point out that there's been some change in those areas? Because, you know, normally, you know, that when you talk about Delmar, especially in the city, the Delmar divide, you know, in terms of the contradictions of one side of town being funded, which is predominantly white side, and the black side being underfunded. So those 2 questions in terms of concrete examples and how long it's been in existence.
So our main street, and there are 3 main streets that's why I wanted to explain the universe. There's 3 main streets in St. Louis, so I'm one of 3. There's Delmar Main Street, there's Dutchtown, and anybody that's been in St. Louis for more than 5 minutes remembers when Laclede's Landing was a place to be, right? So there's a person like me dedicated to each one of those communities to do the same thing. Essentially, taking back to the last piece.
I was saying some concrete examples and how long has it been in existence?
Yeah, and we've been around since 2021.
2021.
But I will say
relatively
because
new then.
Relatively new, but not so much in that, you know, those 8 neighborhoods that surround our board is made up of community members, right? So largely, it's people from the business community as well. But essentially, this is just what that grassroots effort looks like to organize. So, for example, in the West End, which is one of the 8 neighborhoods, you have the folks that do the We Collab plan. I don't know if you've heard about
I haven't.
We Collab plan, but that plan was a neighborhood plan recognized not just by the city of St. Louis, but has won an international award for if you are a neighborhood, this is how you can come together, elevate your voice, and get what you need. And so check out that We Collab plan. Invest STL and Cornerstone organizations like that have been at the table to support the community members to bring the vision that they have for community.
So concrete examples as relates to
revitalization along Delmar. Sure. Well, the irony, which makes it such a even more of a pain point, is that stretch from Union to Kings Highway, which is that section is called the Delmar Maker District. You have on one side the Nix Plaza, and there's a Legacy and a lot of businesses that I know you know. And then across the street, you've got newer businesses like Steve's Hot Dog and The Fountain. Ben Parimba brought in 4 of his restaurants. That stretch, just that, from one block to the next, from Union to Kings Highway, 12 new restaurants had opened inside of 1 year. Like, unheard of levels of just a very thoughtful and concentrated, in real estate, they may call that critical mass or density. So you just saw a lot of effort and attention pour into this community. So it was, just heartbreaking to see the damage that the May 16th tornado did to those businesses, because for many of them, they had just had their grand opening. And
you know what? You just must have read my mind in terms of a question I was going to, as you were sharing those spots, those some dear spots that I constantly see, because we have an office right at Union and Delmar. And the impact of the tornado was really tremendous for our audience, and some people live outside of this our range. The May 16th tornado that just ripped through St. Louis, especially the Black community.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that on the other side of the break.
Sure.
Behind me is the New Life Evangelistic Center administrative offices in Overland, Missouri. And this is where we shoot our shows for our worship shows and the Here's Help Network. It's also where Zaki Baruti and Bernie Hayes shoot their shows. You can find all of these shows at the New Life Evangelistic Center app, the NLEC TV app. You can also access them on your tablet or on your computer. And this is how you can stay up to date with all the things that New Life Evangelistic Center is doing. There are so many different programs that we've got going on, and God is doing many exciting things through partners like you. So if you want to support the work that New Life is doing, then please access and give through the app. You can go online at nlecstl.org or give us a call at 314-421-3020. Again, 314-421-3020. But this is the best way to get plugged into the amazing work that New Life is doing through people like you. And so there is something for you to get involved in today. And we are so thankful for our partners. Only through the grace of God and your gift are we able to bless others today.
Are you getting tired out, burned out, worn out? Perhaps you're experiencing hope fatigue. After all, hope is the oxygen for your soul. I want to share with you a formula that's given to us right here in the Word of God in 1 Thessalonians 1:3, a formula for dealing with hope fatigue. It says, "We remember before our God and Father your work produced by faith, your labor prompted by love, and your endurance inspired by hope in our Lord Jesus Christ." Well, first, your work produced by faith. If we're trying to do all this ourselves, no wonder our hope is getting worn out. It has to be produced by faith in our Lord Jesus Christ. Second, your labor prompted by love. If we don't love other people, we don't care about them and their needs, our hope for our own ambitions are going to fall by the wayside sooner or later. They have to be prompted by love, first of all for God and then for others. And finally, it says, your endurance inspired by hope in our Lord Jesus Christ. Put that hope in Jesus. It'll be healing for the hope fatigue, and you have hope both now and for all eternity.
welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is the lovely and dynamic young lady, Felice McClendon, who's with Delmar Main Street. And we're talking about the work that they have done to try to working to revitalize Delmar, that many people in St. Louis call the Delmar Divide, trying to bring businesses as well as jobs for people. But that whole effort has been disrupted. In my mind, I'm looking at one of the beautiful restaurants that was a black-owned restaurant that just got totally,
Beyond Sweet, Dallas.
Just totally destroyed.
Yeah.
And in fact, we just most recently as an organization came out with our newspaper. We publish a quarterly newspaper. Mm-hmm. And on the front side of the newspaper, we have F3 tornado rips through St. Louis on May 16th, causing mass destruction in the black community. At least 7 dead, 5,000 buildings destroyed or damaged, and $1.6 billion in losses. And so we offer our sincere sympathy for those families who lost loved ones and became homeless in essence. But at that time, do you remember where you were at that particular time of the tornado?
I mean, I was doing what I ever do every day, which is canvas and go business to business. You know, I'm there to support the small business community along Delmar in the city. And I was at the intersection of Delmar and Union. And I looked up at the sky. I said, "Ooh, I've never seen a sky like that." Then the woman in front of me, she started crying.
So were you were in?
I was I was in my car.
You were in your car
at the intersection of Delmar and Union, right in front of Nick's Plaza is on the right. Legacy is on the right, and Steve's Hot Dog and the Fountain is on the left. I pull up. I'm trying to make a left on the Union. I look up. And then I look immediately in front of me because this car starts driving back, speeding backwards. So I'm just honking because I'm looking.
Oh, they're reversing?
They're reversing, driving backwards. And I'm honking like, please don't run into me. Well, the reason why she was is because the trees were flying in the air like toothpicks.
Wow.
And so she was just trying to avoid a tree. I wasn't even looking at the tree. I was just looking at this car is coming at me at the speed of light. Once she doesn't hit me, and it's laughable that I was concerned about my car because at that point, you know, stuff does start landing on my car. I see a tree coming, and then I feel the cool, wet air. My windows were not open. At that point, I realized my windows were exploding. And so I put my head down only for every window in my car except for the passenger window to explode over my head, just glass shattering over my body. You know, bricks, sticks, trees, debris, you name it, is just hitting, sliding across my back. And, you know, by the grace of God, like literally, I am here to share that story. But when I got out of the car and, you know, I needed some help getting out of the car because there were trees all around it and debris and whatnot.
So some people had to come and help you get out the car. Yeah,
I mean, it was just life-altering. I don't even have grandkids yet, but I will be that grandparent that like, oh no, here grandmama, she gonna tell that story about when she was in the 2025 tornado. I sure will, because it forever, it was the most terrifying thing ever. But I don't take for granted that God spared my life. And so serving St. Louis means the world to me. There were so many more who were hit even harder. My home was not hit. This was, yes, I lost a car.
Right.
You know, I lost a car, but I walked away with my life. There were people, I'd even spoken to the sister who was in the church not too far before that incident happened, Sister Pat from Centennial Church, God rest her soul. I'm sure she's with them now, but I had reached out to the church to see if they wanted to write a historic preservation grant, because again, that's what we do.
At that same day, on the same day?
Not that same day. It had been, you know, a few months before, and you know how grant deadlines come and go. We had just missed the deadline, but it was, you know, a very chilling irony that we didn't get a chance to write this grant that maybe could have done some repairs to
And
those
for folks who may
buildings.
not be familiar, Centennial Church, a historic church in our community, was totally destroyed, and several people, at least one person was killed at the church. We're going to take our last break.
Since 1972, New Life Evangelistic Center has been on the front lines, reaching out, helping the hurting, the homeless, the fatherless, the widowed throughout mid-America. Yes, although it's had its roots in St. Louis, it now has expanded throughout mid-America into India and Africa, Haiti, and other places around the world. Oh, what a history New Life Evangelistic Center has. And we have many of these history books available to you, and they're right there on Amazon. And if we can help you get one of those, you contact us at 314-421-3020. But in addition to all that, we want to share a lot of that history with you right here as we take a look at how the work began and how the Lord has taken us throughout the years and the miracles that we have seen, all because of caring people like you. You're part of the history of the New Life Evangelistic Center. Yes, New Life Evangelistic Center has a rich history, but there's much more yet to come, and that's why I'm inviting you to familiarize yourself with the history of the past and be a part of the miracles of the present. Yes, let the Lord God Almighty work in you and through you. Let Him do exceedingly beyond what you can ask or think. He's got a purpose for you, and we want you to be able to live out that purpose as you get directly involved in the history of New Life Evangelistic Center and what the Lord is doing now.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is Miss Felice McClendon, who's one of the organizers of Delmar Main Street. And she was just, we were part of her work in terms of revitalizing and doing a great job has been kind of destroyed by the tornado of May 16th. I have one other question around that tornado. I guess you heard about the great stories of people out of the community rising up and taking charge. In fact, we had a couple of, if I may show a couple of scenes in our newspaper that I just want to salute the good people who came out to help people. And one of those folks were what we call a point of connection, St. Paul AME Church. Hundreds and hundreds of churches and organizations that did come out and do the right thing in terms of feeding the people, providing clothing. And it still is an ongoing struggle.
It is ongoing. It's not over.
Right,
It's not over,
So I'm sure then Delmar Main Street will continue the work to revitalize those areas that have been hit by the tornado. Now, if anybody interested in terms of reaching out and getting more information about Delmar Main Street, how would they reach out?
Yeah, well, of course, go to the website, Delmar Main Street, STL.com. My number, I think, is being provided as well. But the mission continues.
Give the number.
314-399-6133.
Say it again, if you will.
314-399-6133. Again, the mission continues, Zaki. There's so much work to do. So I always like to say, revitalization does not have to mean gentrification, but that means I need community participation. And so it really is a all hands on deck opportunity. We need everyone to step up in this moment, and it's been an overwhelming amount of support.
Real quick, now, part of your effort, do you provide funding for startup businesses or existing businesses along that Delmar corridor?
Yeah, well, I can say we had an event immediately following the tornado at Steve's Hot Dog in that, outdoor veranda area. We raised over $50,000, and we are giving that all out. I think we're going to get we're going to continue to replenish that fund so that we can do $5,000 mini grants for the businesses. And I want to make sure I say this. It's for the businesses, of course. Our knee-jerk reaction is to support the individual, but for every business that you support, the help is at scale because it's commensurate to the number of employees. So you help a business that has 20 employees, that's 20 households. Okay,
on that note, we don't have to conclude.
Yes.
And like always to the audience, and I'm going to have you back on, okay?
That's fair.
We'll do a part 2. Join an organization. Make sure you vote at every election. We say join the Universal African People's Organization. On that note, may God bless each and every one of you.